probably because it was her birthday, June 30th. Then June Valley, the American singer, born June 30th, 1930, born in the Bronx with Till I Waltz Again with You from Hit Parade, January 31st, 1953. The American folk singer Dave Van Ronk, born June 30th, 1936, born in Brooklyn with the great Joni Mitchell tune Both Sides Now. And I read that Joni Mitchell absolutely loved his version. Then a Latvian composer born in Riga, Latvia, Paul Zambis, born June 30th, 1936, with Puti Puti Veha Mate. I do not know what that means, but let's do some Latvian research. We'll find out. Greek singer Apostolos Nikolaidis, born June 30th, 1938, with Sto Adio Mu Pakarto. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. He was famous for recording some prohibited Rebettica songs in the early 70s. 1943, Florence Ballard, one of the founding members of the Supremes, was born June 30th, 1943, and that was Walk On By, great tune. June 30th, 1950, Leonard Whiting, the English actor and singer from the Zeffirelli film Romeo and Juliet, for those of you who may remember that, and that was him singing What is a Youth from the soundtrack of Romeo and Juliet. And then Jordan Frosolone picked one of his many musical favorites, Matteo Salvatore, and that was, how do I pronounce this, Jordan? Il Pescivendolo?
Just about.
You can do it again if you want. You can pronounce it correctly.
No, I'll let you go.
I love it. Jerry Grinahan, No Chemise, Please, in 1958, June 30th, peaked at number 24. It's a very funny tune. 1985, June 30th, The King and I closed at the Broadway Theater after 191 performances, and that was the Great March of the Siamese Children with Yul Brynner. Another great Jordan Frosolone pick, James Jamerson, bass player, that was What's Going On, Marvin Gaye. And finally, another Jordan Frosolone pick, Paolo Conti with Mia con Me. I love that. I love your picks, Jordan. So just great stuff that you picked. A lot of different things. A couple of fun things. Other June 30th birthdays. French astronomer Jean Dominique, born in Paris in 1748. American bank robber Willie Sutton, June 30th, 1901. Michael Phelps, the Olympic swimmer and gold medal winner, I believe, 1985. Boxer Mike Tyson, 1966. Actress Susan Hayward, 1917. And Italian actress, I do not know her, but maybe you do, Jordan, Lea Massari. Do you know her?
I do not.
Yeah.
I do not. Okay.
So something to check this out.
Exciting.
Right? Anna in La Ventura.
I'm familiar with that film, but not with her.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's Leah or Leah, but it's Lea Massari, born June 30th, 1933. So got to check her out. Today in history, Superman, 1938, first appeared in DC Comics Action Comics. June 30th, 1938, series issue number 1. 1955, Johnny Carson debuted on CBS TV. In 1953, the first Chevrolet Corvette rolled off the assembly line in Flint, Michigan. In 1859, French acrobat Charles Blondin was the first to cross Niagara Falls on a tightrope. In 1860, the famous debate on Charles Darwin's theory of evolution was held at the Oxford University Museum. London's Tower Bridge opened June 30th, 1894. The electric stove was patented by W.S. Hathaway in 1896, June 30th. 1906, U.S. Congress passed the Meat Inspection Act and the Pure Food and Drug Act. And let's see, the U.S. patent for transmitting pictures over wireless, early TV, was granted to Charles Jenkins, June 30th, 1925. The first round-the-world radio broadcast in Schenectady, New York, June 30th, 1930. Yay! And Margaret Mitchell's novel Gone with the Wind, very in the news lately, June 30th, 1936. Her novel Gone with the Wind was first published. The world's first emergency call telephone service was launched in London using 999, June 30th, 1937. And the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service was formed 1940, June 30th. 2 balls were in play at the same time during a game in Wrigley Field in 1959. First black astronaut, Robert Henry Lawrence Jr., 1967. Soviet dancer Mikhail Baryshnikov defected to the West, June 30th, 1974. And U.S. Railway Post Office, final train run, New York to Washington, D.C., 1977. Famous holidays. Today's holidays, June 30th, is International Asteroid Day, National Meteor Day, Log Cabin Day, National Organization for Women Day, and NOOD Day, National Outfit of the Day Day. Well, interesting. Today's rhyming news segment. We always rhyme the news every week for, I don't know, 8 or 9 years. So here we go. We try to sparkle up the news, the gloomy news. All right, you ready? Here we go. Kim Kardashian dyed her hair red. So just what's ahead for the diva with dare, the next billionaire? Her new Coty deals put to bed. The cosmetic giant's stake is 20%, not fake. They paid 200 mil. That's a lot of goodwill for the lady of the lake. Seattle's authorized zone seems indeed to be prone to erratic crime. Things turn on a dime. Can you hear the nation groan? Turmoil is everywhere, from Tulsa to Washington Square. Vandals used no restraint, splattering red paint on the famous arch with flair. Slave owner statues fair game in this movement not so tame. Across the nation with reverberation, setting the mood aflame. Perhaps we should count to 10 before pepper sprays of cayenne. The mood is tense. We're in suspense. How about practicing Zen? What happened to the ways of Gandhis and MLKs? There's been a shift, a chasm, a rift. Feels like we're in a daze. We need a guru now to help the world, and how? Where's Deepak Chopra? Where is Oprah to offer an earthly vow? Snoop Dogg put to the test for working with Kanye West, some taking him down as a hypocrite clown. Is that art at its best? Baseball's coming back. Will sports get back on track? Without the fan crowd screaming out loud, it's like we're fading to black. Defunding the police will guarantee an increase in New York crime. Hard to say in rhyme, but will we ever see peace? It's National Meteor Day, so telescope away. Where's that asteroid? Are we in a void? Now, where is my Chardonnay? And that's the rhyming wrap up of the news. So here we are, and back in sync with our little interview show, Mia's World. And here we are with Jordan Frosolone, my guest tonight on Mia's World. Hi, Jordan.
Hi, Mia.
So nice to have you on.
It's so great to be back and hear your voice again.
Yes, I looked it up. You were on the show almost exactly a year ago at this time.
I thought it was about that.
And the world was just about 600 degrees different.
And seemingly a bit easier.
Yeah, I mean, think about all the little things we used to complain about. Like, we don't want anchovies on our salad, you know.
Brave new world.
Yes, so I'm so happy you're calling in. Let's see, a short, brief bio of Jordan. Born in Chicago. Wow, I mean, your career in food began over 20 years ago, 1998. You've worked for so many places: Nomi, Blackbird, Coco Pazzo, Mamafuko, August, in the village right here, and most recently Ten Corso Como, and currently Leopard, I should say, at Data Feast.
I like the Italian spin on it.
Leopardo, I know. What the heck, right? You're an executive chef there. You're a partner of Gianfranco Sorrentino. You live in Brooklyn. You founded Belsito Grupo, who that's an organization that works with farmers and producers and does culinary tours. No tours happening right now, I'm sure.
No, definitely not. We had a little tour in February, right on the cusp of all of this. So the timing of that.
Wow. Perfect. Oh my gosh, you were in Italy in February?
In February, yeah. Right as the outbreak was starting to happen there. So
did you know that it was happening? I mean,
yeah, we were actually down south in Puglia and in Rome, and they were starting to hear about these outbreaks up north. And
wow,
you know, within days it went from 7 people or 8 people to 50-something people, and then the next evening it was something like 600. So it really escalated as it does quite quickly.
And you were still there while this was escalating.
Yeah, and we left. Our timing of departure was pre-planned, and it just happened to coincide with about the third day of the news really starting to that this was really starting to be a real thing.
God. Well, this was going to be a later question, but since we're on the topic, what did you experience in terms of Italy versus United States in terms of the response to COVID, or is it hard to say?
Well, I guess I could say that in Italy there was an immediate quarantine of these one particular small village that ended up being a little bit more wide. And then the quarantine just started to become larger and larger, and people were being mandated to stay home or to seek medical assistance. Pretty much immediately. Avoiding any other, and pretty much immediately being told not to have contact with other people.
Wow.
So it did, there was obviously a huge increase in cases and a huge increase in deaths. But the protocol initially was really to quarantine. And it was mandated that by the government that was to be the case in these areas and this, especially the region of Lombardia.
Well, and we all saw, most of us watching the news, we all saw that incredible image of people in Italy, all over Italy, singing and playing music across their terraces and playing ping pong with each other. And mostly the music really, I think, grabbed us, grabbed our hearts, because it's such an Italian thing, the music and sharing the music, opera and Baroque and jazz. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it really it brightened my days as it was all happening here, for sure. And hopefully it brightened their days as well. It seemingly did.
Oh my God, it really, really did. So let's go back in time I did ask you this last year. I'm going to ask you again. Did you always want to be a chef? What happened? That you grew up in Chicago? Did you start cooking with your parents, or what happened?
That is definitely where it started. Cooking with my dad, and really the interest in food was always part of our family and our life, especially during dinner times and weekends. That people were always gathering around the table, and so there was a huge part of me that just really loved being together and being with family, and food being the focal point of that, and everyone gathering and eating and just having a good time, and food really, in my view, and I think in a lot of other people's views, really plays an important role in bringing a jovial, loving atmosphere to a group of people. So that was the impetus of it all, and then it just really grew into starting to cook more, and it is today. So many years have passed, and it is it evolved into just something I did, into something I do. So
well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, and so that just happened, later in life when I realized that we all have to work for a living, and why not do something that you really have some sort of desire and passion to do, if you will, and really, I mean, just talk about an opportunity to endless opportunity to continue to learn. And when you first start cooking, you could really go down many paths, which I feel that I explored different opportunities in culture and cuisine, and just really kind of went full circle and landed back on my Italian roots maybe about 10, 15 years ago. And ever since then, it's really just been a primary focus, just to really look at the food of Italy and the culture of Italy and the history of Italy, and it's just been this endless book.
Unbelievable. I mean, what part of Italy was your family from?
I have grandparents that were from Sicily, a very small town outside of Palermo, by the name of Montemaggiore Belsito. And then another side of the family is from Campania, a very small town in the province of Salerno by the name of San Gregorio Magno. But they came to the United States in the early 1900s. And so I'm American through and through, but with very, very proud lineage to Italy. And, it's something I'm extraordinarily happy to be.
Well, your website has such incredible images, photographs that you've taken, not just of food and recipes, but of musical instruments. I think the chitarra?
The chitarra, yeah, the very classic way of making spaghetti in Abruzzo, where they use piece of equipment called a chitarra to run the pasta dough through, and it cuts the pasta into the strings of the spaghetti, if you will.
That's so beautiful. I mean,
it's just cool stuff that I've collected over